All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Terence Crawford clowning Canelo Alvarez after his defeat and letting him know what the deal is. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. Yeah, we out here gloating. Even though I am a fan of Canelo Alvarez and I am going to maintain that think he is an absolutely terrific fighter, cannot help but agree with Terence Crawford on what Terence Crawford has to say in reaction to him losing to DIMITRY Bivol as a major favorite. Before I get into that though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. All right, so Terence Bud Crawford. Now, for all y'all thinking I be Bud hating all the time, I ain't Bud hating on this one because Bud Crawford, I have been telling you, was the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world, not Canelo Alvarez. However, you know what it is. All the pundits and all of the people are saying it's Canelo, it's Canelo, Canelo. Canelo is maybe the greatest fighter of all time. Man, when they started saying that, I was like, wow, y'all are going to be walking him into some nonsense because the boxing gods do not like that. However, he loses to DIMITRY Bivol as a big favorite in the 175-pound division. Get in a one-sided beating too, a one-sided fight. The only reason I had any concern in that fight about whether or not DIMITRY Bivol was going to win or not is because I'm thinking these judges are going to give Canelo Alvarez every round that they possibly can give, and I maintain with a score of 115 to 113 that they did exactly that. They just could not find any rounds from about round 5 on to give to Canelo Alvarez. Other than the first 3 rounds, after that, that was a wrap. Terence Crawford comes out and says, well, you know who's #1 now, and that is without a doubt the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world right now is Errol Spence Jr. No, I'm just kidding. It's either Errol Spence Jr. or Terence Crawford. That's 1A and 1B for me. However, the reason I got it 1A and 1B is because Terence Crawford is 1A because C comes before S in the alphabet, and he's older and he's been a champion longer, so I'll give him the 1A. However, there ain't no doubt about who's the #1 now between him and Terence Crawford. It is without a doubt Terence Bud Crawford. Why is that the case? Because Canelo Alvarez, I'm telling you, I've been telling people this in live stream after live stream, and I keep hearing about how out of my mind I am, how I don't know what I'm talking about. I told you, Canelo Alvarez is not in his prime. Canelo Alvarez is a fighter that has been a professional fighter for almost 18 years and has 60 fights. Canelo Alvarez was in his prime when he was fighting Floyd Mayweather Jr. up until about the time that he fought Gennady Golovkin the first time. After that, after the second fight, Canelo Alvarez was on the decline, and you could tell it in the manner in which he fought. He was no longer had a high amount of punch output. He pretty much relies on walking the bigger, slower guys down, laying in shots on his arms, and was fighting at a level of competition that was a lower level of competition. Fighting all of those UK fighters was not, I'm telling you, was making it an illusion with Canelo Alvarez. Now, people are going to say, well, DIMITRY Bivol's different. He's different. No, DIMITRY Bivol is not. DIMITRY Bivol is a good fighter. And I've always said DIMITRY Bivol was a good fighter. Nothing, straight up and down, no special effects. He was not pulling out otherworldly boxing skills fighting Canelo. What he did is he knew how Canelo Alvarez was going to approach the fight, and he was able to weather the storm of a bunch of shots on his arms, trying to get his hands to drop down, right? Trying to get his hitting on the arms, hoping eventually he wouldn't be able to hold his hands down, and Canelo Alvarez could hit him with a big hook or a big uppercut or something like that and get him out of there. Canelo Alvarez, that entire fight looked like he was going for a one-punch knockout for all 12 rounds, and DIMITRY Bivol stayed in a shell and allowed him to punch himself out. That is no different than old school Muhammad Ali with a rope-a-dope, saying, except for he did his rope-a-dope in the middle of the ring. Except for he did his rope-a-dope in the middle of the ring with Canelo, and that knockout never came. I'm telling you, it is a bad look when a fighter is not being very busy, allowing people to score points on them, but hoping that their cleverness and their big shots are going to pay off with a knockout. It did not pay for a knockout in Canelo Alvarez, and as a result, he lost that fight. And again, I think Canelo Alvarez lost that fight around what is not 7-3 because that's 10. 8-4, 9-3, or 8-4 is what I think that scorecard was. However, they had it within, all four judges had it on their scorecard, one round away from a draw and one knockdown away for a win from a win for Canelo Alvarez. But even in that scenario, they were not able to pull off the robbery for Canelo Alvarez because the fight was that one-sided. Terence Crawford, without a doubt, is 100% right. We know who the #1 pound-for-pound fighter is now. Make sure that when Ring Magazine and ESPN comes out with their new list, they do not find some magical reason to throw Monster Inoue up above Terence Crawford, like I am sure they would be quite happy to do. I will tell you, however, that I'm quite sure Canelo Alvarez will stay on that pound-for-pound list. And honestly, I would not be surprised if he stayed at #1 on that pound-for-pound list. But in my book, this is his 1, 2, 3, at least his third loss, if not his fourth or fifth loss that Canelo Alvarez has had in his career. This time, he did not have the activity in order to keep up his punch volume to win that fight. If Canelo Alvarez had taken a different approach to that fight and just kept his hands busy and kept throwing more punches and not loading up on everything and just touch Bivol, he probably would have won the fight. But with all that muscle on him from all that computer muscle on his back, I guess he just got winded and could not keep that volume up as much as he wanted to do. But anyway, it is what it is, man. Make sure y'all give Terence Crawford his just due. I'm not even playing about the Errol Terence Crawford thing, but it is what it is. We'll see when those guys get into the ring with each other. And man, oh man, oh man, I know Eddie Reynoso and those guys are sitting up there like, hey man, we should have fought Charlo. You should have been fighting Charlo. But anyway, it is what it is. And with that, I'm out. Peace.